What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
This is Motivation Monday, so let's get fired up, answer your questions, and show you how to live a fitter, healthier, and happier life. We're going to jump into the first question out of the mailbag. I've lost weight a few different times, but never seem to keep it off. How do you guys make sure your weight loss is forever instead of just a phase?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when it comes down to it, there's so much that needs to be taken into consideration. And what really inspired this question was I was talking to two individuals yesterday who just signed up for coaching, met up with them in person. I'm really excited to help them out. But they came from one of our clients, Ryan, who we've shared a few different times. And he's effectively lost 100 pounds now to this day. And he's lost weight in the past a couple different ways. And I was explaining to them why he's able to keep it off and how his life is different now, and it's just so incredible. And they're like, yeah, we were talking to him at a wedding, and he was just saying how he can still have some of his favorite foods and he can still enjoy the process and is very flexible. And so it was a great conversation, but it just really got me thinking about our process and why we do what we do and how we're able to help people lose weight and keep it off. Because the average person I talk to, they have that story of, I've lost weight, but I've put it back on. Let's just say they have mentioned, I lost weight doing keto, a couple of years ago, I lost 20 pounds. Now I gained 30 back. I'm trying to get back to it. I've heard this so many different times, right? And my biggest thing is just try to make it as flexible as possible, right? So when you start this fitness journey and you intend to keep weight off and you intend to keep becoming better, when you go about your life and it's just like, hey, I go to the gym, I can eat my favorite foods, I try to hit my protein every day, and you have all these things that you do, but it's just a part of your life. Instead of it being like, I follow a strict meal plan, I can only go out to this restaurant, never this restaurant, and I have to be in the gym 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, and I have to do an hour of cardio each day. Like, that's just not going to be sustainable unless you're just this like crazy elite athlete that's doing a triathlon or an Ironman. So I'm gonna have to say my biggest tip that I really want to leave you with is just try to make it flexible, have a process where you're still, of course, seeing results. And that's what we do for our clients. Like even Ryan, he was able to go on trips. He was able to go away. He was able to do all this great stuff, but he was still losing 2 to 3 pounds per week. Like, it's not like you aren't seeing results. And that's another thing you have to think about is if it's like you're living your life and you're doing all this fun stuff, but you're not seeing results, that's also not going to be a good way to do it. So effectively, my biggest thing is just make it flexible. And that's going to be the thing that's going to get you to that next level, get you to consistently show up and just enjoy the process. Because if you enjoy it, you're going to continue to show up. So that's my biggest tip for this question.
Yeah, all phenomenal tips. And for me, I think short-term measures produce short-term results. So if you're doing anything that you can't see yourself doing long-term, it's not really going to work. And of course, you don't want to be in a deficit your whole life. So with the exception of being in a deficit, that's okay. But I think too often people will get lean because they'll say, okay, I'm going to do 2 hours of cardio a day. And you can do that for a period of time. But something like that, in my opinion, at least, is not the most sustainable metric each day. Doing 2 hours of cardio, being an hour in the gym, 3 hours of your day would be pretty chunky, or 7 days a week, or doing multiple sessions, whatever it is. Like, some people will really go that route of, I'm going to lose weight, so physically I'm going to do as much as I can. But burnout is very much a real thing. And if you're just doing something like that where you're going to burn out, it's not sustainable, that's where it's really going to be a mess. So Kyle's point of flexibility is everything to me. And that's why we have that freedom formula, right? There's still a structure to it, but it gives us the flexibility to have no foods off limits, to be able to have more control with our calories, to eat intentionally, to be able to travel and eat food out and not just be stuck to what we're doing at home. So that is obviously the biggest tip. And then additionally, I really like the point of timelines and understanding kind of how things will work long term, because if you just make the mistake of saying I'm going to lose 40 pounds as fast as possible, and then you're there and then you don't know what to do, you're toast, right? I like the quote that, I don't know if it's a quote or a statement, whatever you want to call it, but it says there will never be a point where you've made it. There'll never be a point in your life where you'll be like, okay, I did it. Everything's done. I did everything I want to do. I can just sit back and relax now. Everything's good, right? Everything will continue to take work. Fitness and health will be part of your lifestyle. You're going to have to keep working out. You're going to have to go on walks. You're going to have to be healthy. You're going to want to eat good food. You can't just get to the point where you're so fit that you can just do whatever you want and just be nonsensical and overdo it. And I think part of this journey as well, a good thing to realize is like that you enjoy being fit. Like I enjoy working out for the mental benefits, the physical benefits. I enjoy eating healthy because my body feels its best, its sharpest. I don't feel like gross. I don't feel like I have indigestion. I don't have any of that. So instead, I've really learned when I eat the best food, it energizes me the best, gives me the best clarity. It helps me sleep more. When I sleep more, I lift more. So you can connect those dots and say, I actually like these processes, because I think where people go wrong is they have that physique competitor mentality where they'll go super hard, they'll be super extreme, they'll lock in for 12 weeks, like I said, hour, 2 hour cardio a day, intense lifting sessions, starving themselves all throughout it. And then at the end of that meet, photos are taken, they're like, okay, this is done, and they'll really like binge out and put on all back that weight. Then the next day they'll feel lethargic, then they won't want to get back to that position of extreme action, and it's just this vicious cycle. So if you are going to lose a lot of weight and you want to keep it off and there's a chance you've lost it before, you need to evolve your habits and your patterns, and you can always like adjust how intense you are on the gas. Maybe if you have a lot of weight to lose, you got to push on that gas a little harder. It's going to take some more of your time, but you do want to learn how to transition out of that. And that's where high level tools like reverse dieting, which is something we specialize in, are immensely helpful, because you can maintain being lean, reintroduce calories intelligently, sometimes even lean out more, and have that transition out without causing a lot of like hormonal damage.
Yeah, another big thing we're huge fans of is also just like teaching you how to do this stuff, right? And I've been answering a lot of great questions in my client check-ins as of late, because clients have been asking me like, "Hey, why is it that we're doing this?" And I've been spending a lot of time explaining it, because ultimately our biggest goal is to get you to your goal and just have you maintain it for the rest of your life. And I've said it a few times before, but like it wouldn't feel right if you just, let's say years from now, you're like, oh, I've gained a bunch of weight back. Like, we want to teach you the principles, the habits. We want you to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And when you are going about your journey, like, one of the greatest things you can do just in life in general, but also your fitness journey, is just be curious. Like, what's in this food? How much of this is broken down into carbs, fats, and protein? Like, when I go to a restaurant, what exactly is happening behind the scenes? Like, when I go into grocery stores, I see exactly what's going on in terms of the marketing and where people are placing things. And it's funny, I was even sharing on one of my live streams the other day, I was sharing that we're in a bit of a tough situation with food as well, because you realize like all of these monopoly companies, like let's just say McDonald's, they are in the real estate business. Like, you know exactly what they're doing. They're placing their locations in the prime spot where it's trying to get you to go in there consistently. It's convenient. The flyers that are coming to our house, the ads that are being run to us. Like, when you start to pay attention to what's going on in the world, and you start to understand like you have to fight these temptations, you have to battle against these people who have like infinite amounts of money trying to keep us unhealthy and out of shape, like you start to understand things, right? So I really encourage you to try to pay attention to what's going on, what's going through your mind when you start to feel some sort of craving. How can I fight against it? Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you can learn, and we try to spend as much time teaching our clients like how to navigate and work around this. And that's what's so cool about this journey, is like being involved with someone's situation, knowing what they're going through, what they're thinking, what's going to work based off of how many kids they have and their job and all that great stuff. And I just wanted to also give you this opportunity, because if you are struggling and you have lost weight and you haven't been able to keep it off, it doesn't mean there's a problem with you. It just means that the thing that you were trying to do, there was a problem with that, right? It didn't stick. It wasn't for you. And right now, for the first time ever, we are running the most insane deal for Black Friday. These spots will go by super quick, and it is a limited time offer. It's an early action discount promo for Black Friday. All you have to do is message us early Black Friday to Instagram at Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT. We'll teach you how to keep weight off and keep it off forever while learning all the habits on how to consistently make progress. So we can't wait to help you.
Yeah, and I want to jump in there as well to say that, just as I said, success isn't final. There will never be a place where you fully made it. Failure isn't final either. And if you've had a bad day, you can move past it. And a lot of it is having the tools and support to see that, because it's really easy to be really gloomy and doomy about things that happened to us. Maybe you had a horrible day, or you had a week where you missed training. And that's where having a coach and someone on your side, like when you fall down, to keep picking you up, that truly is a long-term secret for success. Because like I said, if you're going at it blind, you don't know how much weight you should be losing. Maybe you over diet, maybe you resent the diet, maybe you blow back up too fast after, you don't know how to navigate a vacation. Like, these are all things that are just going to hinder your progress, because it's going to be demotivating, it's going to be confusing, it's going to make you sad and emotional. And it is hard hard because it's your livelihood, it's your expression, it's your like social ability when you're around people eating. Like it's amazing how intertwined fitness, health, nutrition, all these things truly are. And when you can learn how to navigate them with freedom and balance, and even with me, people sometimes they'll see me and they'll be like, you must never leave the gym, or you probably never had a piece of cake. And I'm like, well, no, I don't mind eating out at all. I don't mind, like, if I want to have a sweet or I want to have something fun, like, I'll do it all the time. I actually probably eat a lot more food than you think I eat. It might shock you. And I'm not in the gym that long. I'm in the gym like an hour and 15 minutes, 5 times a week. And I think sometimes that just breaks people's minds because, like, no, there has to be more to that. But I assure you can build up to that. And if you failed before, you're not the problem. I just made an email about this as well. Like, it's easy to feel like you're the problem, but a lot of the times you're just doing the wrong things or focusing on the wrong area, or actually you don't have the right inputs or goals. And when you adjust those things and you have a coach on your side, like, it's so immensely helpful. So that truly is the ultimate hack. And I think also just the same, setting new goals. Like when you hit a goal, set a new goal, be realistic, let it be balanced, but just keep working towards something, because like I said, fitness, health, happiness, like they're never a point where you're finished working on them. Like it's something that always takes work, but the more you can enjoy that process, the better. And that's where I love that quote, right? Like the man who loves walking will go so much further than the person who just wants to get to the destination. It's a good quote for a reason. The more you can learn the process, the more you can have that long-term success. But speaking of quotes, we like to share a quote that we find impactful and motivational every week with our Motivation Monday, because we are here to get you fired up, inspired, as well as answer your questions. So we'll go ahead and jump into Kyle's quote.
Yeah, today my quote is, don't wait until you reach your goal to be proud of yourself. Be proud of every step you take. So very applicable to what Josh just said about like having that goal and enjoying the process and walking further. I think it's so important to be able to celebrate wins. I'm not going to lie to you. I know so many people who are just insanely hard on themselves where they will not be able to like celebrate until they've reached that final destination. And the truth is, like, it is important to get to that final destination and not to celebrate too early, right? Like think of a hockey game where it's like people start celebrating, or a football game when like it's not done at all. By all means, like it is important to like wait until the final bell is rung, but you have to enjoy the process to be able to keep showing up, right? And I know the amount of people who are just so hard on themselves and they're like, well, my goal is 30 pounds, I'm only 15 down. It's like, do you realize like how much weight 15 pounds is? Like when you think about it, do you realize that you are the person that would eat out every single day and drink a couple of cans of Coke, and now you're just like actually looking for that healthier option? It's just incredible, right? Like you should give yourself some credit where credit's due. And then the issue with waiting till a certain milestone is that I promise you, once that milestone comes, there's going to be another thing, and you'll find another reason to push the goalpost and make it bigger, which to me is still great, to find those things to look forward to and have new goals and to set new goals. And believe me, that's an amazing part of the process. But my main takeaway is just find those things that you can be proud of yourself for. And this quote actually came from the gym that we were at today. There was just like, it was in massive writing, and I was in the middle of my squats, and I was just like not enjoying it. It was a little bit challenging, but I loved looking over and seeing that. I'm like, man, like, just celebrate those wins. Like I was proud of myself. I'm like hitting some good numbers. I was, and that's the thing. I'm not where I was before in terms of like how much I'm squatting, but I'm like, hey, I'm still doing it. It feels great. I'm hitting some good numbers and I'm proud of myself. So I think that's a very important part of the process.
Awesome. And now I got a quote, and this is actually from me, which is awesome. So it's, you don't get the body you want by doing what's comfortable. You get it by doing what's required. And we'll tribute to Colossus Fitness because you got to represent. So I love this quote, and it's something I've been thinking about, because if you lean into what's comfort, like if you want to be comfortable, you'll sleep in, you'll probably just order some greasy food for breakfast. You'll put off all your work. You won't reach out to anyone, and you're going to end up feeling miserable. Like already it's not what you think it is, right? Instead, when you do what's required and you actually just go through the motions, even if it's hard to do or it's easy to do, that is where you see a lot of results and success. Like if you only go to the gym when you feel like it and you're motivated, that'd be hard. I would not be in the gym all that much, right? Instead, when you just go through it and you do what you know you need to do, like, and you do it like you love it, that's how you see long-term results. And that's how you actually kind of trick your mind into loving it as well. And that's why we always challenge our clients too. If they're like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, we'll be like, hey, go there. And if you don't want to go, just go home. And bulk of the time when you make the journey all the way there, you're in it, you get all dressed and everything, you start going, you warm up, you're like, oh, I'm so happy I'm here. And then after, you're like, that was an awesome workout. Feels really good. You get the endorphins, you have the pump, you have that sense of accomplishment. So a lot of the time it's just understanding not just leaning into comfort, but leaning into systems and discipline and scheduling. And the more you can do these things effectively, the more it takes away that guesswork, right? And the same with the weight loss. When you have these principles and you utilize things like the freedom formula, set plan, having a coach, really makes doing all this that much easier.
Yeah, and when you really just feel like you just have to show up and it's just a part of the process, like it just makes setting goals, hitting goals, and just conquering all that great stuff just like a part of your life. It's just like what becomes natural. And I think a lot of people struggle because it's just like a constant battle of just like you're always trying to psych up your mind when it's just like we've trained ourselves just to do the hard thing when we don't want to do it and you show up. And that's what's really important. So, yeah, moving into my thought. So, there's two things. I've been doing daily live streams for, I'd say, probably a week now. I've just been enjoying it. At any point in the day, I'll just set up my phone and just go on Instagram and just have a real talk. I always have a subject plan that I want to talk about, and then I'll answer questions as well. So, make sure to head over to our Instagram. We post like daily stories, daily reels, daily live streams, and you can just get so much little bits of information and motivation. So, I know you'll absolutely love it, and you can join in and ask any questions. And then the other thing was I was just in the sauna the other day, and as I'm sitting there was like people consistently coming in and out, and like every one of them had their phone and they were just like scrolling. Like I kid you not, I was like they're just scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram, and I'm like just thinking to myself, like that's the one place where I'm like I cannot bring my phone. Like I have complete freedom of just like spending time with my thoughts, either talking with Josh if he's there and just like being fully present. And I really believe like most of us, like actually all of us will just have a better life that's like less stress and just overall more enjoyable if we have rules in our life with like our devices and using it a little bit less. Now, I'm not perfect. I'd say I'm maybe halfway there, but there's some things I try to do. Of course, never the sauna, never in bed. I do not bring my phone in bed ever, and I will refuse to do that. First thing in the morning, 30 minutes is another great principle. During conversations, one thing, once again, I need to get better at this as well. I'm not as bad as some people, but you'll be mid conversation and it's just like, texting and scrolling and stuff like that. I'd like to get to the point where I don't use it when I'm chilling with my daughter and just spending time there. Like these things I'm working on still, but I just feel like so many people are just crazily addicted, and it just makes you stressed out. You're reading the news, you're scrolling Instagram, and it's just like we wonder why we're depressed and we're anxious and we're just like unproductive. Well, it's in our hands. So just a friendly reminder.
Yeah, and I love how even Kyle said there's things he wants to do that he's working on, because sometimes I feel like you'll think I'm just going to instantly be someone who goes to the gym 5 days a week, or I'm going to stop using my phone. Like there's nothing wrong with working on things and understanding like it's a process, and you can never fail if you just keep getting up and you keep trying and you keep trying to figure it out. And I think you could really apply that to anything. And I guess that's where my thoughts going from Kyle's note here, because if you just say, hey, I want to work on this, I'm going to improve it. Here's how I can track it. Here's how I can measure it. And you can gauge, am I actually going in the right direction? Like you will never fail unless you quit. So if there's anything you want to improve or work on, there's ways to make that happen. You can gamify it. Like even I've used the example for reading. You could read 1 page a day if you want. Before you know it, you are a reader. You're reading every single day, and one can turn into 2 with steps. You can do step goals and challenges, and these little micro intensives can be really good. Or you could say, hey, I'm not going to look at my phone between this time or that time. So I do think there's a lot of fun opportunities with that. And even with the gym or your nutrition, even if it's not locking in perfect for you, like keep looking at where you're going wrong. Like maybe you have it down, the weekends suck and you got to find a new plan there. Whenever you go to a restaurant, like there's solutions to every problem. You just got to keep staying creative and keep working at it. But I think those were all phenomenal tips. And then now we're actually going to jump into a client who's crushing it, who's seen some amazing change. So who do we got?
So this week we have Jose, who is 18 pounds down in 12 weeks. So 1.5 pounds lost on average, which is absolutely incredible. He looks like a different person. You can tell his body composition's changed. He's looking leaner. He's feeling happier. What I really like about his story is, of course, he's seen some great changes in 12 weeks, and he's just going to continue to see more progress. Is that his story is great in the sense where there's things that could have just caused him to say, you know what, now's not the right time. And like I love these types of situations because it is easy for someone who is just in a different scenario where maybe there's not kids involved, your work schedule is really chill, like you have everything going for you. And to me, it's obviously easier to succeed during those times. But even for him, he works some crazy hours. He works in the hospital, sometimes 8 days straight. He also has a baby girl. So, that's something that he has in his life that could obviously cause him to just not show up and just like skip the gym. And then even just working around an injury. So he used to power lift. He had some back injuries in the past. So what we're mainly looking to do is just work around that and give him like the perfect scenario based off of his past workout history, his goals, what he's striving for. But these three things between like a work schedule, a little one, and then past injuries, the average person would just be like, well, fitness isn't for me. Like I may as well just be out of shape and just not show up. But for him, he's like, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to take care of myself. I want to be better for myself, my family, even those that you work around. That's another thing a lot of people don't realize is that when you're investing in yourself and you're showing up for yourself in your work life situations, in your other relationships, like your life and every part of it just consistently gets better with the energy you have, the confidence you have, your self-esteem boost. Like when you invest and you show up, like there's just a different swagger that you have that's just like, hey, I'm actually trying to better myself. Like it's just such an incredible thing. So really proud of him, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. So shout out to Jose.
Yeah, I think there's no better feeling than knowing you're becoming a better version of yourself. You're on a path to improvement. You're pushing yourself and you're growing. And just the same, I think one of the worst feelings is when you're going the other way. It feels like you're dying. It feels like you're withering away or you're losing opportunity and hope. So the best way to rectify that is taking action. And once again, like Kyle said, if you've been on the fence but want to get started, now is the time. We have the Black Friday deal going on. And this is our early Black Friday pricing. We don't do crazy deals very often. This is a once a year crazy opportunity, especially because we get a rush every new year. Every new year, everyone wants to get a start on their goals, but usually people aren't as serious. So by you making the commitment to us now saying, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to level up, we will guarantee you your results. If you want to lose 20 pounds of fat, gain 20 pounds of muscle, we will make that happen. Additionally, you're going to get a new Colossus hoodie for signing up. I don't have it on right now. I should. I got the Dunder Mifflin though. I had to represent that for all the people that love The Office. But like I said, if you've been looking for a time, this is your chance. You're also going to get early access to our New Year's challenge, which is going to be our biggest challenge ever. It's going to be a ton of fun. The results are going to be insane. There's going to be a ton of prizes. So this is a no-brainer. If you've been wanting to get started, definitely message us Black Friday to our Instagram. And now we're going to jump back into the mailbag for our second question of the week, and that is, I find I constantly overthink and have a hard time making the right decisions for me on my journey. Then I end up doing nothing. How would you navigate this?
So this is what we'd call paralysis by analysis. And this is essentially just you spend a lot of time thinking of what the right thing is and you're overthinking and you therefore don't end up doing anything. So I can relate to this. Like back when I first tried to like build this business, I remember like one of the worst habits I had was just indecision. And I think it came from just like a family thing, because that's actually how my mother is just like it takes her hours to this day to come up with a decision. So I said, you know what? This is going to be my one goal. I'm going to practice becoming better, because I know it's, in my personal opinion, it's one of the worst habits. Like there's obviously a lot of bad habits we can have, but just not being able to make decisions as we have to make thousands per day is just, to me, it's not great. So like the simplest and yeah, easiest thing that I did was I just said, every small decision I make, I'm going to just make it quickly. Even if it's not right, even if it's not perfect, I'm just going to get in the habit of just doing that. So if it's like, you know, someone says, hey, what do you want for dinner? Hey, let's go to steak. Let's go here. People are like, wait, what? Like you just made a decision that quickly? And so I would start to do that for a lot of things like, hey, like, what do you want to train? Oh, let's hit legs. Haven't done it in a bit. Okay, cool. And so it just kind of helped me make decisions easier, and instead of overthinking it, I'm like, oh cool. And when you start to realize you make these decisions, and like the worst thing that happens if you make a bad one, you fail and you have to try again, like it's really not that bad. So I would say just like practicing that for small things, big things, like medium-sized things, and you just keep getting in the habit of it and realize like if you fail, cool. Like even Josh was saying, if you fall down, what's most important is that you get back up and you continue to show up, right? Like the worst thing that happens if you decide to train something and it's just not the right thing, it's like, oh, you learned a lesson, right? And looking at these decisions as lessons learned is so powerful. But the other thing I will say is that when you become like well researched and you have conviction, it makes decision making so much easier, right? And that's where a lot of people struggle, is they don't really understand as many things. And even on your fitness journey, if you do spend a little bit of time learning, you're listening to fitness podcasts, you're doing all this right stuff, and then someone says like, hey, are you actually doing flexible dieting? That doesn't work. Like, what are you doing? A lot of times people overthink it. They'll have all these thoughts and they end up doing something that someone else says they should do. When in reality, if you're like, I've listened to coach Josh and Kyle. I've seen the transformations. I know exactly what's going on. I know how it works. Like I've been listening to the podcast, like flexible dieting's the way. Like it makes it so much easier to make your decision when you at least have a little bit of research behind, you have that belief, and it honestly makes overthinking just like not possible because you're like, hey, I believe in what I'm doing and I truly believe it's the right decision. So that's going to be my main other tip, but I'm curious what Josh has to say.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, because I'm definitely an overthinker, that I heard that gave me a lot of really like alleviated me was you can't like outthink overthinking. Like the more you think, you're not going to solve overthinking. Like you're just going to continue to support it. And I heard an analogy too. It's like if you overthink, and especially about things you can't control, and you ruminate, it's like feeding a fire. Like it's just adding more fuel to that fire, and it's going to grow and grow and grow. Whereas if you try to calm it, you can let it burn out. So even for me too, I think life is a series of decisions, and you'll make great decisions, you'll make horrible decisions, you'll make okay decisions. It's a natural process. And for me, at least if I can say I tried my best to make a good decision, that's really all that's in my power. And even you can do everything right and still have things go wrong. And just the same, you could do things really wrong and you could be lucky and have them go right. So even with your journey, I don't regret the doing a million chin-ups and ab raises. I don't regret doing P90X. I don't regret doing the fit fix at the gym or not knowing what I was doing or lifting with bad form. Like you'd think I would, but it taught me a lot. And it really taught me the difference. Like when you're butchering form, like how you'd feel sore and hurt and beat up in a wrong way versus when you lift intelligently and get a good pump. I also learned over time how important it was to invest with others and learn and just work with people that are better than me and how fast I can accelerate my results. But very often you don't learn these things unless you make those mistakes or you go through those wrong channels, or you're like Kyle and you're packing all your food and you're miserable and you hate food and you don't understand like how that works. So just the same, if you think you're making wrong decisions too, like another beautiful thing is you can take that guesswork out. I know we've spoken of our coaching, but it is a really good deal with Black Friday. Like for me, I just like working with people who are better than me. I've used the plumbing example. Let's say my kitchen sink's all clogged and stuff. I could get on YouTube, I can ask ChatGPT, I can watch videos, I can go to Home Depot and buy all the specific tools, and it's probably going to take me 20 times longer. I'm probably going to botch it. I'm going to be miserable. It's going to take away time from me being with my kids or my passions or my skill sets. Instead, I can just work with someone great and have them come in there and help. And fitness, health, nutrition is very much the same. And it truly is like you get inundated with just an excess of information and nonsense and silliness. And it can be very confusing what actually lands and where you need to be and what advice is specifically good for you. And I feel like I understand how people feel when they're more naive to fitness and health and nutrition when I'm in a subject or topic that I'm more naive in, because I'm just like, this is so overwhelming. I don't know where to start. I think this is right. And I can totally understand that. And that's where working with a professional and having confidence behind that is so amazing, because you know you're on the right path. You can be honest and vulnerable with them. They'll build you up. Sometimes you'll actually realize you're doing better than you think you're doing. So if you're really having that struggle, like we'd like to alleviate that for you. But outside that too, I would also have some like confidence knowing that even if you mess up, you'll be okay. As long as you're not doing anything really, really ridiculous. But like Kyle said, you can filter a lot of that out by doing good research. One thing I used to do when I was really learning was I learned something, I'd use a common sense test first and foremost, and then I'd try to cross validate that. And I'd see if other people I respected or other sources said the same thing or if they disagreed with it. And I'd start to find my path. And then you can get even deeper and you can look at scientific studies. But like, once again, if all this is just like too much and overwhelming, you can mitigate all that so easily. And we can work with you remote entirely from wherever you are, with whatever gym you have available, whatever schedule, whatever career path you're on, whatever nutritional specificities you have. We will be there to support you through that. And truthfully, that is the best answer. I can assure you that.
Honestly, like my only regret for some of the things in our business and just even our journeys is just not getting extra help earlier. Like even for us, like when it comes to accounting, when it comes to bookkeeping, when it comes to like doing these newer projects that we're trying to expand in, man, I can spend hours and hours and I will still do it to the fraction of what like my accountant and bookkeeper would do. Just like they'll just do it so much better. So it does feel really good knowing, hey, we're making the right decisions, but even like we can reach out at any time. Hey, quick question, what should we do here? And like, you know that it's the right thing instead of me having to overthink it for the next 6 hours, right? And I think a lot of people are scared to reach out for help, right? Because our egos can get in the way, but it just makes making the right decision so much easier. And the last thing I'll say on this topic is that also depends on like how big the decision is that you're making. Like some will require more time, right? If like a house pops up and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make the decision, I'm gonna move. Like that's a bigger decision. I could result in me losing a couple 100,000 if I don't choose it right. But the main question I ask myself is, what's the worst thing that could happen here? And like Josh said, a lot of the times it's just lessons learned, right? Let's say I'm gonna start this type of eating. I'm gonna give it a shot. What's the worst thing that happens? Okay, cool. I fail. Maybe it'll happen. I'll have to try again in 2 weeks and then we're good to go. Like it's really not much risk, right? Especially for a lot of these things, it's like very minimal. Like the worst thing that happens is that you have a lesson learned that you can apply to your future journey. And to me, that's a pretty cool experience. So yeah, that's my final thought there.
All right, and we're going to do our third and final question of today's incredible episode. As always, if you enjoy these episodes, first of all, we just want to say we appreciate you tuning in and pat yourself on the back for listening to something that builds you up, inspires you, and helps you grow. And if you want to leave a review for our podcast, it really would mean the world. It'll take 2 seconds. We read every review. They make us smile, whether on iTunes or Spotify. You can leave a review on both. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello, you can leave a comment down below, and we also make sure to read those. So that really would mean a lot. But now let's jump into our third and final question, and that is, I find my workout takes over 2 hours. Once I do 15 minutes mobility, 15 minutes warm up, any tips to speed this up?
Yeah, and I was thinking about this today because I was watching us warm up and hit some squats, and I was like, man, we're pretty efficient. So a lot of people, and this is what I want to talk about, is proper workout structure, right? Because to me, a lot of people waste time. And to me, time is the most valuable thing in the world, right? I don't want to be in the gym more than 2 hours. I just don't care to be, even though like it's my livelihood. I just would rather go do other things. So for us, we're typically just over an hour, to sometimes around 75 minutes. Now, I don't actually warm up when I get into the gym. I do a morning walk every single day, and my workout is shortly after that. I feel pretty good. I get lots of steps, and I'm already a couple thousand as well. So whatever it is that we're doing, I typically go in there. A lot of my clients will do about 5 minutes on either the Stairmaster, the treadmill, the bike. Like that's totally cool. And then mobility, I'll spend like maybe 5 minutes. And one of my best tips to like integrate it to make it just easier, and even watching Josh do his warm up for squats, is like as we're working up and doing heavier weight, we'll do some mobility and some things in between, right? So let's say I go and I do some 90-90s, then I put like one plate on the bar, then I'll go and do my cat cows and my leg kicks, then I'll go put 2 plates on the bar, and I'm warming up and doing mobility as I'm warming up. And honestly, like to me, like 5 minutes, let's say on each end, if you're gonna do like mobility and and then a warm up, is like totally fine. And I find that that's like the best workout structure. And then you jump into the compounds, then you go into the accessories, and then you can do like a small cool down. Or to me, you also don't have to do a cool down. We'll just go hit the sauna for 10 minutes and then we're good to go there. But one of my biggest tips is just really set timers and try to be specific with that. I find so many people will be in there, they'll chat a ton. And honestly, like you should be able to get in and out of the gym. And even my clients, I'm like, hey, should be just over an hour. And once again, we'll cater it based off of their time frame. Some people will say, hey, I go at lunch, so it needs to be 45 minutes. We'll work around that. But I think one of the greatest things you can do is just try not to like dilly-dally, I guess, just like, do too many things, because some people will go in there and think that if they do 20 minutes of mobility and foam rolling, that's going to be the most perfect way to do it. And I don't believe that that's actually right. I just think like it's just too much. And a few minutes, just warming up your body. Like the main goal is to get in there and just get some blood flow, warm up, do some body weight squats, do some leg kicks. Like it doesn't have to be this massive thing. And I just see so many people doing that. So that's going to be my main talk on workout structure.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And we actually did a certification with DTS, Great Systems, and they had mentioned your goal is to be as mobile and healthy as possible, that when you need more time to warm up, you have the ability to do so. But in general, that your body is pretty elastic and able to respond to stressors. Because I always think it's funny, right? Like if you only wait for perfect situations and perfect warm-ups, it's like, how are you going to lift something in the wild? Like if you have to lift a box or something, like you're going to die if you don't do your 30-minute warm-up structure. Like you need to have some flexibility, and that's where having good form, moving in general, like I'll usually go for a morning walk before I go to the gym anyhow. That gets the system going. I'll walk a bit in the gym, and everyone is so different. If you have a bad history of an injury or you have an area that's more tender and aware, you can dedicate more time towards that. But everyone is so entirely different. But I work hard to lift in a full range of motion, to stay mobile, to do stretching at night when I'm able to where I'm able to jump in there pretty quick. I also try to stay efficient with my warm ups. Like if I'm doing heavy squats, of course, I could get my back going. I could get the shoulder that I dislocated going. I could do a million different things. Instead, I really just focus on like doing some leg kicks and actively warming up through the movement. I like doing a lot of bites. So if I'm squatting like 405 pounds, usually that would look like me just kicking my legs first, just getting warm there. Then I'll squat the bar for like 12 to 15. Then I'll do a plate for like 12, and then I'll do 2 plates for 8, then I'll do 3 plates for 5, and then sometimes I'll do one in between, like a 365 for 5 or whatever, and then I'll get in my working weight at 4. Like you can see, I do actual warm-ups of the movement I'm physically doing, and I'll actually do this more and more in my workout. So if I'm doing a push-pull day and I've warmed up my chest, it's good to go. I'm not going to warm it up for every chest exercise I do, but if I transition from like a chest to a back movement, even if I'm just doing like cable rows, instead of me rowing like the 220 pounds I'll start by doing like 100 pounds, and I'll just get it going, get some blood flow, work on the form, kind of prime and prep everything, and then move from there.
Yeah, and Josh is actually really good at like having tunnel vision as to the next exercise. So that's another thing is like we're pretty good at like moving at a good speed, right? Because once again, I don't want to be there all day. And he's really good at being like, okay, we just did leg press. Look at the routine. Next thing's hamstring curl. Okay, cool. You're finishing like with leg press. I'm gonna go over there, grab the hamstring curl. Like we keep things moving, right? And I see a lot of people just not doing that, right? And that's where it's cool because we don't really get caught up in like, oh, we have to wait for 10 minutes. And that's a whole nother story. Like, I always believe there's an alternative. Like, there's some things we'll have to move around depending on the day and like what exercise it is and if how far we are in the workout and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of our gist of workout structure, how to approach it. And to be honest, what we specialize in is having proper workout structure for your goals, for your time frame, what you need. And I really, really encourage you to message us Black Friday. We'll absolutely take care of you. You're going to have nutrition taken care of, training, accountability, guaranteed results. And I promise you, your only regret you're going to have is that you didn't start sooner. So message us and we can't wait to help you. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We'll see you in Thursday's episode.